Your Excellencies and all the participants, a very good evening, good morning and good afternoon, because we are joining from the different parts of the globe. I welcome you all on this BRICS Forum on Urbanization. This group, consisting of the 5 important nations across the globe, constitutes the most biggest forum with nearly 3 billion population, which is 42% of the world population, 29% of the world land area, and 23% of the global GDP. So what we discuss here constitutes a very, very important thing which impacts a very large scale humanities across the globe. And our experience could be shared with various others. I welcome you all on this important topic of Urban Forum. Another version of this was held in 2016 in our coastal city of Visakhapatnam in the southern India, and that was held in physical form. Because of the challenges of the COVID-19, which has impacted the whole world, we are forced to hold this discussion through a digital and a virtual on a platform. I wish and pray to the God that maybe the next year when we hold the forum, the world is cleared out of this pandemic, COVID-19, and we are able to meet in physical form, discuss, share, and take things forward what has been our learning in different parts of the world. The subjects which we are going to discuss in the next 2 days constitutes urban mobility, smart and sustainable cities, urban water management, spatial planning, housing and inclusion, inclusive development, solid waste management, and then we are going to conclude tomorrow almost the same time as it is today. There will be a lot of discussions, lot of sharing of experiences. World has moved in different forms, especially in terms of adoption of technology, in terms of innovations, in terms of bringing new possibilities, new practices which are going to bring ease in living of the human beings, which is going to bring ease in doing business. Especially when we are concerned with the urban areas. The urban areas, whether it is small towns or the large cities or the urban agglomerate, people are congregating for the purposes of synergy, for the purposes of bringing businesses together so that it leads to economic development. Cities are rightly known as engines of economic growth. All the 5 countries of this forum are at different level of urbanization. If you take the numbers, maybe by numbers, Brazil stands first with almost 87% of the urbanization, and India has around 35 to 36% of the urbanization. But well, these numbers also mean different things because we do not follow the same definition. If we follow the definition what Brazil is following, India's urbanization will be more than 50%. So this urbanization varies from country to country. But one thing is very clear, that the world is moving towards a bigger urban world. The population world over, and especially in this forum in all our countries, the urban population is increasing. With our definition, as I mentioned, this 35 to 36%, the current population in India living in the urban areas is around 460 to 470 million. This number is going to cross 600 million by 2030, and this is going to be almost like 880 million. We are going to cross the 50% mark by the year 2050. That is just 3 decades from now. We are going to have almost the same number of people living in the urban area as they are living right now today. That gives us so much of challenge. The challenge in terms of providing or catering for such kind of amenities and facilities so that the human beings who are living there, they feel inclusive, they get the best of facilities, and they get wings to their aspirations. They are able to realize their best of potentials. And for that, whether it is in infrastructure, in terms of the physical infrastructure, water, sanitation, etc., or whether it is the economic infrastructure, the livelihood opportunities, or whether it is the social infrastructure in terms of the health, education, entertainment, etc., everything needs to be of the highest order. How that is possible? That is something which we have been looking for. We have been trying to address in different manners. And I am sure in the next 2 days, this matter is going to be discussed in detail. When we share our experiences, it will all be very useful for all of us. One country, other country can learn from the other country. So this, in our country, though we are late starters on the urbanization, when the country got independence in 1947, our urban population was just 170 million. But this has grown, and I was mentioning this is going to grow faster. But we started taking urban issues seriously after 2000, after our opening of the economy, but more sincerely, more in a focused manner since 2014, when the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi took over the reign of the country. He brought the vision of how the challenges in the urban areas could be converted into big opportunities. And the series of focus missions started from the year 2014 onwards. The very first mission, the Clean India Mission, which we call Swachh Bharat Mission, it has created vibrations all across the globe. Whether it is on the sanitation front, open defecation free, the whole country is now open defecation free, and we are leading to a higher order where the hygiene and cleanliness is of the highest order. The country is moving towards garbage free. We started with just around 15 to 16% of garbage being processed. Today we are able to process more than 70%, and we aim to reach to 100% in the next 4 to 5 years. We have learned in a big way. There is the wealth out of the West, something which was discarded, which was lying as a dump sites. Now it is providing employment to the many people, many youth are engaged in getting West converted into wealth. More than 5,000 of them, such companies are on our government e-portal, e-marketing portal, through which the products are being purchased by the municipalities and town areas. We are also addressing the issue of the wastewater, the used water, how that can be treated and how to ensure that no used water is discharged into our water bodies, which pollutes that. Is another mission is Atal Mission for Urban Rejuvenation and Transformation, which was initially in the year 2015 launched for 500 cities whose population was more than 100,000 plus. But recently our Honorable Prime Minister on the 1st of October has launched it for the whole country, and now our focus has moved from providing just drinking water facility for every household to making our cities water secure. In the last 5-6 years, we have provided nearly 11.2 million water connections, nearly 9 million sewer and septic connections. But what we want to achieve in the next 5 years, through our Amrut 2.0 is nearly 30 million water connections, nearly 30 million sewer and septic connections. And this is possible, this level of scale achievement is possible only by use of technology. We have to learn from the different parts of the world what has been done so that the wastage in water has been reduced, so that there is a more clean and quality of water is improved, so that the non-revenue water is reduced. How we can reduce and reuse, recycle water, so the circular economy of water. We have to go for the gig economy. We have to involve our students, involve our youth, involve our people into making sure that the quality of water is very good. So we want to learn with an open mind from different parts of the technology, the practices, which is going to provide a better quality of water to our citizens. And practice on conservation of water, so that ultimately we make our cities water secure. We have to bring the water not from distance from the pipe, but with the water itself by improving the availability of water in our aquifers. So this is going to leave a huge opportunity, lot of innovation, lot of technology, use of technologies in the water sector. The third important mission, which has been a talk on the different parts of the different forums, global forums, is the housing mission. Honorable Prime Minister Modi in the year 2014, he thought of providing housing to every household when we celebrate the 75th year of Indian independence, that is the next year 2022. And the target, once we assess the total requirement, it came to nearly 11.2 million. I am happy to share with you that we have already sanctioned 11.5 million houses, and out of that, work on more than 9 million houses is started. We have delivered 5.2 million houses to our people in different parts of the country. And when we say the house is in the name of the women. House is considered to be complete once it has got water, drinking water, it has got the sanitation facilities, it has got the gas, it has got electricity, and all this possible through a all-out approach, through a whole of government approach. Different ministries through the different programs have added and aided to this kind of a facility, so that people get housing which is good for them to realize their dreams. The next mission, which is very important, is the urban livelihood mission. When the person migrates from the rural to the urban areas, they do not have those skills which are suited or which are fit for getting absorbed in the urban economy. And for that, they need training. They need a skill, upgradation of their skills. And this has been possible through the National Urban Livelihood Mission. Recently, we have addressed the issues of the street vendors. And I am very happy to share with you, the street vendors have been provided affordable loans, so that all that hardship they have gone through because of the COVID-19, because of the various the blockade of the work, they have revived their work, and nearly 3 million of them have been provided working capital facilities through the banks. This has been possible only with the use of IT as an end-to-end solution, so that there is hardly any human interventions. Another mission which is most important, which teaches all these missions which I spoke to you right now, is the Smart City mission. It cuts across different aspects of the urban area, whether it is the urban planning, how to plan and make the best utilization of the land resources, or how to get the best out of whatever you have, the total resources, getting more from less, or using the technology in the best possible manner, integrated command and control centers which work like a human brain, like we have the human brain, so it's the brain of the city and the nerves of the city. The city can feel, city can analyze, and city can process and take decisions, whether it is the human grievances, whether it is the providing facilities, amenities to the human beings, or even things like crowd management, managing various things like COVID-19, cyclone, flooding, or even security. So integrated command and control center, I'm sure this is going to be shared in that session. It has really proved worth in different aspects of the human living. We have also focused on the ease of living, and for the first time, I'm sure this is going to come up in that session, ease of living index. This is a new index we have developed. We have already had 2 versions of it. The 3rd version is already ongoing, and we now started with the municipal performance index. We have focused on improving the non-polluting transport facilities like walking, cycling, through the cycle for change, through the making streets for the people, various kinds of the challenges across the country, and that has created lot of energy, lot of vibrations in our cities, and this is coming up well. I'm sure this is going to be shared in the session of the smart cities. The last thing, which is most important, is the urban transport. On the urban transport front, the country had only metro facilities in just 5 cities, and that was only around 240 kilometers. In the last 5-6 years, we have added another 500 kilometers of the metro, and now it is running in 18 cities. We have the metros under construction in 27 cities for more than 1,000 kilometers. And now we have gone for a cheaper solution. I am sure in your session on the urban transport, by Joint Secretary and the Mission Director, he is going to talk to you about the Metro Light, which costs just 40% of the metro system. That means you can make 2.5 kilometers of metro light in what you pay for 1 kilometer of metro. Or the Metro New, which is a tired metro, and there you can have just around 20 to 25%. So 4 to 5 kilometers of metro new can be constructed for the same amount as it can be done for 1 kilometer of metro. Or the water metro, which is using the water. I mean, some of our cities have got, the coastal cities, they have got so much of water creeks are there, and it's very difficult to move from one place to another place. So many bridges are not possible, so people have to take a long distance. It causing pollution, it causes congestion, it causes so much of harassment and so many other problems. So now we have come out with the water metro in the city of Kochi, which is southern India, and that is coming in a that has shown a good result. The multimodal integration, we are focusing on innovations like National Common Mobility Card, rather than having different cards at different cities. Single card, one nation, one card. Your debit card works as on any system, transport system across the country. Wherever you go, the same debit card can be used on the transport system. The same card can be used on various other retail shops and also for the ATMs. They are coming with so many new technologies, whether it is, something which have been importing so far. Under the Prime Minister Modi's focus on Make in India, on Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is the self-reliant India, we are now becoming slowly as manufacturers of various kinds of technology in urban transport and various other sectors. And if we are not only catering to our requirement, but also we are taking care of the requirements of the region and also beyond the region. Some of our metro coaches being manufactured from here are going to countries like Australia, Canada, South Africa, various places they are going. So this is the new India. The new India is focused on the Atmanirbhar India, that is the self-reliant India. What I mean to say, that there is so much of experience. Last 5-6 years has been a tremendous, exciting journey in improving the urban areas. And the focus are only twofold. One, bringing ease in living, and two, bringing ease in doing business. How to improve systems so that the business can grow faster, is smoother, without any hindrance. And if that is possible, the urban areas are going to grow. The urban areas, cities are called the engines of economic growth. If the cities grow, if the people get enough opportunity to realize their dreams, realize their potential, definitely it is going to add to the country's economy, country's growth. And our country has aimed at, our country's economy is around $3 trillion economy. We plan to move it to $5 trillion economy in the next 5 years. and $10 trillion economy in the next 10 years. And there, the role of cities are going to be very, very important. And whatever I have said, and what is going to be deliberated in the next 2 days in different sessions is going to be very, very important. So I welcome you all on this urban forum. I am sure this is going to be a very exciting discussion. There will be a lot of things to learn from each other, and together we can make a big difference to the whole world. Something which we have committed in the COP26 recently in Glasgow, how we can make the world better place to live, climate resilient, where we can, with least impact on the climate, the human being can take the development and the growth path. Again, let me thank you all and wish you all the very best for a very exciting discussion in the next 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for so eloquently narrating the urban story and India's place in it. You very rightly highlighted the achievements and aspirations of India's urban domain, which is truly validating the point, as you mentioned, that cities are engines of economic growth.